There are places on this planet that don't look real, but they are. Places so strange, they feel like they were built in a dream. From glowing beaches to rainbow mountains, the world hides secrets that defy logic. You think you've seen beauty, but you haven't seen this. You think you know Earth, but Earth still has tricks you can't imagine. Every frame you're about to see will make you question what's possible. Every name you hear will sound like fiction, but it's not. This is the world you thought you knew, showing you its impossible side. This is the edge between reality and illusion. This is where the unreal becomes real, and the real becomes unreal. Welcome to the most unreal places on Earth. The Great Wall of China is not just a monument, it's a living scar across the spine of the Earth, stretching for thousands of miles through mountain peaks, mist, and memory. When you first see it from a distance, it looks impossible. A ribbon of stone twisting across ridges like it's holding the world together. Every brick feels alive with history, each one carried by hands that lived, loved, and vanished centuries ago. You walk along its path, and the wind rushes through the watchtowers, whispering voices of soldiers who once stood guard against invisible horizons. Some sections crumble, swallowed by forest. Others gleam under restoration, their defiance intact. From atop the wall, you can see the land roll endlessly, the curve of mountains fading into haze, and for a moment, you feel suspended between time and eternity. The scale overwhelms you. It's not just a wall, it's a heartbeat frozen in stone, looping endlessly through the centuries. Every step forward feels like a step backward, every shadow a reminder that the wall has seen empires rise and fall, yet still it stands, patient as the earth itself. Maui, Hawaii, feels like the world's pulse slowed to the rhythm of waves and wind. It's a place where fire, water, and life fuse into one unbroken motion. The island greets you first with scent, the sharp sweetness of plumeria, the salt of the sea, the smoke of volcanic soil. The beaches curve like golden ribbons, and the ocean hums against them in deep, steady breaths. You drive the road to Hana, each turn a portal to another paradise. Waterfalls tumbling through emerald cliffs, bamboo forests whispering in perfect rhythm, black sand beaches born from lava and time. Above it all rises Haleakala, the dormant volcano, its summit so high it pierces the clouds. At sunrise, you stand above them, watching the world below ignite in gold and pink, as if creation is happening again just for you. Maui is balance, the raw power of volcanoes and the softness of ocean breeze, the stillness of ancient valleys and the pulse of surf. When the day ends, the island glows with warmth and sound, waves crashing, ukuleles echoing, stars unraveling across the sky. You realize Maui isn't a place you visit. It's a rhythm you fall into, one that loops in your body long after you leave. The Masai Mara in Kenya is the beating heart of the wild, a place where life and death dance in a circle older than humanity itself. The air is thick with heat and dust, the kind that clings to your skin and makes the horizon shimmer. Grasslands stretch forever, rolling and endless, dotted with acacia trees standing like sentinels against the sun. Herds of wildebeest and zebra move across the plains in great rivers of motion, their hooves shaking the ground, their calls echoing into infinity. Lions lounge in the shade, watching with golden eyes that miss nothing. Elephants stride like living mountains, steady and solemn. Giraffes drift gracefully through the distance like walking mirages. When dusk falls, the entire world glows. Orange sky, black silhouettes, the land burning with the last light of day. Night brings its own symphony, crickets, distant roars, the crackle of campfires, and above it all, a sky so wide and full of stars it feels like the universe has opened its palms. The Masai Mara is not scenery, it's pulse, hunger, survival, and grace all woven together. You come here thinking you'll see nature, You leave realizing you've seen yourself reflected in its endless loop of life. Mont Saint-Michel in France rises like a dream from the sea, a floating cathedral of stone and sky that seems to defy logic and gravity alike. As the tide recedes, the causeway appears, a narrow path leading to what looks like a mirage, and every step toward it feels like walking through a legend. The abbey crowns the island, its spire piercing the clouds, its bells echoing across the shifting sands. The village spirals below, cobblestone streets winding between medieval houses that lean close like they're sharing secrets. When the tide returns, it comes fast, swallowing the earth until the mount becomes an island once more, cut off from the world, floating in silver water. At sunrise, the mist drapes around the towers, and the stones glow gold. At night, lanterns flicker through the fog, and it feels as if time itself has slowed to listen. You can hear the faint rhythm of waves against the walls, like the sea itself is breathing. Mont Saint-Michel is not simply a monument, it's a moment suspended between land and legend, faith and tide, reality and dream. It exists in cycles, appearing and disappearing, reminding you that even the most solid things live in loops. The Sahara Desert is the silence of the planet made visible, a golden infinity that stretches farther than thought, a sea of dunes rolling under a sky so wide it feels like forever. The heat presses against your skin until it becomes part of you, and the air trembles with the shimmer of mirage. During the day, the sun reigns absolute, turning the world into light and shadow, and the dunes shift and sigh like waves caught mid-breath. But as night falls, the desert transforms. The air cools, the stars ignite, and the universe feels close enough to touch. The sand glows under the moon, every ridge and curve shaped by wind and time, and you realize the desert is alive, whispering softly as it moves. Nomads still cross these sands, guided by stars instead of maps, their camels tracing paths that vanish with the dawn. The Sahara is endless and intimate all at once. It strips away everything unnecessary until only stillness remains. You feel both small and infinite, both lost and found, standing under a sky so vast it swallows sound. The desert teaches you that emptiness isn't absence. It's the space where meaning is born, the eternal loop of silence and creation, of sand drifting like time itself. Hoi An, Vietnam, glows like memory made real, a riverside lantern of a town where the past and present walk hand in hand, never quite letting go of each other. As you wander its narrow streets, the scent of incense and jasmine follows you, mingling with the smoke of sizzling street food and the faint salt of the nearby sea. Yellow colonial buildings lean together like old friends, their paint peeling in elegant decay, their balconies draped with bougainvillea. The Thuban River slides quietly through the heart of the city, carrying reflections of wooden boats, silk lanterns, and lives unfolding slowly. When evening comes, Hoi An transforms. The lanterns flicker to life by the thousands, painting the night in color and reflection, each one carrying a whispered wish as it drifts across the water. Tailors call out from their shops, crafting garments in a single day. The sound of bicycles echoes through the cobblestones, and everywhere, time feels soft, unhurried, content to drift like the river itself. The old town hums with centuries of trade, Chinese temples beside French architecture beside Japanese bridges, all bound together in one seamless rhythm. You taste it in the food, too. The sharp bite of chili, the sweetness of fresh herbs, the richness of broth that's been perfected for generations. Hoi An is more than beauty. It's balance, a place where life moves slow enough to be felt, where every lantern, every reflection, every shared smile folds into a loop of peace that you'll carry long after you've left. Angkor Wat, Cambodia, rises from the mist like a memory carved in stone. A temple complex so vast and intricate, it feels less like a monument and more like a world within a world. Every sunrise ignites its ancient towers in molten gold, reflecting across the still waters of its moat, while the jungle hums in quiet reverence. The carvings along the temple walls tell stories of gods and battles, creation and devotion, etched by hands that understood time better than we do. As you wander through its endless corridors, the air thick with incense and history, you can almost hear the footsteps of monks who walked here centuries ago, their chants echoing faintly in the distance. The scent of lotus flowers drifts from the nearby ponds, and the sound of cicadas merges with the whispers of travelers who've come from every corner of the earth to see this miracle of symmetry and faith. In the heart of Angkor, the world slows down, and what remains is something eternal. Stone, sky, and silence blending into one moment that never ends. Marrakesh, Morocco, hits you like a rhythm before you even see it. A pulse of color, scent, and sound that rushes through narrow alleys and sunlit courtyards. The souks twist like living labyrinths, overflowing with the shimmer of brass lamps, the softness of hand-woven carpets, and the sharp sweetness of orange blossoms in the air. Every turn reveals something unexpected. A musician strumming a traditional oud, a call to prayer rising over the rooftops, a burst of spices so vivid they sting your eyes. The Medina breathes history, but it's never still. It's a city that moves, dances, and seduces all at once. You sip mint tea as the sky turns red over Jama' el Fna, where storytellers, snake charmers, and night markets create a spectacle that feels both ancient and alive. Marrakesh doesn't just show you its beauty, it pulls you into it, wrapping you in its rhythm until you realize that you've stopped being a visitor and started becoming part of its heartbeat. The Amalfi Coast, Italy, is the kind of place that makes time dissolve into sunlight and sea spray, a stretch of cliffs where pastel towns cling to the rock like dreams refusing to fade. The road winds dangerously along the coast, revealing glimpses of turquoise coves and terraced lemon groves that spill down toward the waves. Every village feels like a painting brought to life. Positano with its cascading houses, Ravello with its gardens suspended between heaven and sea, Amalfi with its cathedral steps glowing under the Mediterranean sun. The air smells of salt and citrus. The food tastes like simplicity perfected, and the laughter of locals echoes down stone alleys long after nightfall. Boats glide over water so clear it feels unreal, and as the sun sinks behind the horizon, the coast begins to sparkle like a constellation of its own. The Amalfi Coast isn't just a destination, it's a feeling that clings to you long after you leave, a reminder that beauty can be both fragile and eternal at once. The Galapagos Islands, Ecuador, are where evolution comes to life, a place that feels untouched by time, where nature still writes its own laws. Here, blue-footed boobies dance on black volcanic rock, giant tortoises move with the patience of centuries, and sea lions sleep on white sand beaches as if the world belongs to them alone. Each island is a universe, each wave a story millions of years in the making. You can swim alongside marine iguanas that dive through emerald water, or walk across lava fields that still whisper of the Earth's fiery heart. The air is pure, the silence profound, broken only by the sound of wind and wings. To stand here is to witness the planet as it once was, raw, alive, and fearless. The Galapagos doesn't just show you nature, it strips away everything unnecessary until all that's left is awe, reminding you that the world's most sacred places are often the wildest. The Maldives shimmer like scattered gems across the Indian Ocean, each island a promise of peace, surrounded by endless blue. Overwater villas stretch above lagoons so clear they mirror the sky, and coral reefs bloom beneath the surface like underwater gardens in motion. Time here drifts differently. The days melt into sunsets that set the sea on fire, and nights glow under skies heavy with stars. The sound of waves becomes your heartbeat, and even silence feels like music. You wake to the rhythm of the tide, dine by candlelight on sand as soft as silk, and dive into waters where manta rays glide like spirits. The Maldives aren't just beautiful, they're transcendent, the kind of beauty that makes you feel both infinite and small at once. It's a place where the horizon has no edges, where the ocean swallows every worry, and where you finally understand that paradise isn't somewhere you find, it's somewhere you feel. Yellowstone National Park, USA, feels like the earth remembering its own power, a landscape forged in fire, ice, and patience. Every breath of steam that rises from its geysers is a whisper from deep time, a reminder that beneath our feet, the planet is still alive and restless. The ground hisses, bubbles, and glows, painted in surreal colors by minerals that seem to bleed from another world. The scent of pine and sulfur mingles in the cool mountain air as herds of bison move slowly across open plains that stretch into forever. You stand at the edge of the Grand Prismatic Spring and watch its rainbow hues shimmer under the sun, each color more vivid than the last, each ripple a pulse from the Earth's molten heart. In the distance, the Yellowstone River carves its way through canyons painted in gold and rust, while wolves call from the forests at dusk. At night, the stars spill across the sky like a second geyser erupting, this one made of light. Yellowstone doesn't feel like a park. It feels like the world before humans, raw and eternal, a place where nature's voice still speaks louder than our own. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, is a city that lives and breathes rhythm, a collision of ocean, mountain, and spirit that pulses with life at every corner. From the moment you see the statue of Christ the Redeemer towering above the city, arms open over the sea, you feel that Rio isn't just a place. It's a celebration made of sunlight and samba. The beaches are its heartbeat. Copacabana's golden arc glitters under the morning sun, while Ipanema hums with laughter, volleyball games, and music spilling from every speaker. The scent of salt, grilled meat, and tropical fruit drifts through the air as waves crash against the shore like drums. In the hills, the favelas glow with color, their murals and music telling stories of resilience and joy. At night, the city transforms. The rhythm quickens, and every street becomes a stage for movement, dance, and freedom. Carnival may only come once a year, but in Rio, the spirit of celebration never stops. The mountains rise like guardians around the city, Sugarloaf glowing orange at sunset, Corcovado standing in eternal watch. And everywhere you look, Rio seems to be smiling back at you, daring you to feel as alive as it does. Iguazu Falls, straddling the border of Argentina and Brazil, is what happens when water decides to speak in thunder. Over 270 cascades crash through the jungle, each one a voice in a vast roaring chorus that drowns out everything but awe. The air here doesn't just move, it vibrates, thick with mist that clings to your skin and sparkles in the sunlight. You stand on the walkways that stretch out over the edge, and suddenly the world disappears into a veil of spray. The sound so powerful it feels like the Earth's heartbeat. Rainbows twist and fade through the vapor, fleeting and perfect, while butterflies dance through the humid air as if drawn by the roar. The jungle around the falls is alive. Toucan calls echo through the canopy. Capuchin monkeys dart through branches, and orchids bloom where the water meets rock. When you reach the Devil's Throat, the mightiest of all the cascades, the world narrows to one breathtaking truth. Nature doesn't ask for permission to be extraordinary. Iguazu isn't just a waterfall, it's a living cathedral of motion and sound, where every drop reminds you that power and beauty can exist in the same breath. The Great Ocean Road in Australia is not just a drive. It's a heartbeat stretched across the southern edge of the continent, pulsing with the rhythm of crashing waves and whispering wind. You begin where the city fades and the ocean begins, where the asphalt hugs cliffs that rise like walls between land and eternity. The scent of salt seeps into your clothes, the cry of seabirds becomes a constant companion, and the roar of the southern ocean follows you like an anthem. Every curve reveals something new. Golden beaches untouched by footprints, forests thick with ferns and mist, waterfalls tumbling from emerald heights into secret coves. The 12 apostles rise from the water like titans, slowly dissolving under the endless assault of the sea, monuments to time's patient hunger. As the sun sinks, the horizon catches fire, orange melting into purple, sea melting into sky, and for a moment it feels like the edge of the world is breathing with you. You stop to listen, and the wind carries stories of shipwrecks and explorers, of people who tried to tame this wild border and learned that it cannot be tamed. Even when the drive ends, it never really ends. It loops in your memory, the sound of the ocean replaying forever, reminding you that the road was never about distance. It was about surrender. The Atacama Desert in Chile is where Earth forgets softness and still manages to bloom. It stretches for hundreds of miles, a vast expanse of cracked salt, stone, and copper dust, so dry that even time seems to crumble in your hands. The air is razor sharp, clean enough to make your lungs sting, and every breath feels like touching something ancient. The ground glows white under the noon sun, the salt flats shining so bright they blur the line between land and sky. At dawn, geysers explode in plumes of steam, painting the horizon with silver. At dusk, the desert turns to liquid fire, a sea of gold that burns away into the cold blue of twilight. Flamingos drift across mirrored lagoons, their reflections perfect, their presence delicate as a dream. When night falls, the stars descend in millions, pressing close enough to feel. Every constellation alive, every silence a pulse. Astronomers come here not just for the clarity of the sky, but for the feeling of standing on the roof of the world, where the universe feels open and infinite. The Atacama is both barren and full, silent and singing, deadly and alive. A loop of contradiction that refuses to end, a reminder that beauty does not need comfort to exist. Machu Picchu in Peru is the place where the clouds rest. It sits high in the Andes, draped in mist, cradled by peaks that slice through the sky like the bones of the earth itself. To reach it, you climb through valleys that hum with life, along trails worn smooth by centuries of footsteps, past ruins swallowed by jungle and streams that glimmer like silver veins. And then it appears, stone upon stone, terraces cascading down the mountain's flank, temples aligned with the sun, everything perfectly balanced between nature and design. The air is thin, electric with altitude and mystery, and every stone feels alive beneath your fingertips. Historians call it a city, but it feels more like a prayer, a conversation between human hands and divine mountains. As morning light spills over the ridge, the fog dissolves, revealing the full majesty of the citadel, golden and silent. You can almost hear the whispers of those who built it, who carried these stones to the sky without wheels, without iron, only with purpose. Standing there, surrounded by ancient breath and cloud, you realize that time bends here. It folds back on itself. Machu Picchu isn't frozen in the past. It's living in every second, a loop of wonder that draws you in and never lets you go. Venice, Italy, is a dream that forgot how to wake. It floats between tides and centuries, a city of reflections where everything is both real and imagined. Water laps against marble doorways, and every canal holds the memory of something sacred or forbidden. Gondolas drift through narrow corridors of water, their oars slicing through liquid mirrors that shimmer with sunset and candlelight. The walls are faded but alive, paint peeling in colors that only age can create. Balconies overflowing with flowers that seem to bloom just to defy decay. In St. Mark's Square, pigeons rise like smoke as the clock tower strikes, and the whole city seems to exhale, suspended in time. The scent of the sea mixes with espresso and perfume. Laughter echoes through alleys where footsteps sound like raindrops. Venice was born from water and will return to it one day, but for now it endures, balancing between life and legend. The high tides come and go, but the city dances with them, stubborn and elegant. Every bridge you cross, every reflection you glimpse, every bell that tolls feels like part of a loop. A city forever dying, forever living, forever reminding you that beauty's greatest trick is survival. Petra, Jordan, is the desert remembering its glory. You approach it through the Sick, a narrow gorge where walls of rose-red stone tower hundreds of feet above, streaked with iron and time. The air cools, the light narrows, and then, suddenly, it opens, and there it is, the treasury, glowing in sunlight like something born from fire. It's carved directly into the mountain, columns and figures chiseled with precision that defies centuries. You stand before it, and for a moment, you forget that this was all done by human hands. But Petra is more than its famous facade. It's a labyrinth of tombs and temples, stairways that climb into shadow, and canyons that hum with the ghosts of merchants and kings. The Nabateans built this city not just to live, but to last, and somehow it has. At noon, the stones burn crimson. At dusk, they soften into violet. And when night falls, thousands of candles flicker through the Siq, and the city becomes a pulse of light and silence. You can almost hear the ancient markets, the echo of camel hooves, the murmur of trade routes stretching across the world. Petra is not gone. It breathes through sand and time, an eternal loop of loss and endurance. You leave it behind, but it follows you, a memory carved in color and dust, a reminder that even what's buried can still burn. Tahiti, French Polynesia, feels like a heartbeat wrapped in turquoise, the kind of place where time forgets to move, and every breath tastes like salt and sunlight. The island is a symphony of color. Black volcanic peaks rise from emerald jungle, waterfalls tumble through fern-covered cliffs, and lagoons shimmer in shades of blue so clear they look painted by light itself. The scent of frangipani drifts through the air, ukuleles hum softly in the distance, and the rhythm of the ocean sets the pace for life. Villages line the coast like pearls, their people warm and unhurried, their stories told in dance and song under the glow of firelight. At night, the stars fall closer, reflecting perfectly in the still lagoon until the sky and sea become one endless mirror. You float there, weightless, caught in a loop of water, wind, and wonder, realizing that Tahiti doesn't ask to be explored, it asks to be felt, to be breathed, to be remembered forever. Banff National Park, Canada, is nature at its loudest silence, a cathedral of stone, snow, and water, where every mountain feels alive and every valley hums with ancient energy. The air is cold, pure, and clean enough to taste, carrying the scent of pine and glacier melt. Mountains rise like fortresses of ice and granite, reflected in lakes so vividly blue they seem to glow from within. Lake Louise, Moraine, Pado, they don't just exist, they radiate, each one a mirror of the sky framed by forests that stretch toward infinity. Elk graze at the tree line, eagles circle above, and rivers thunder through canyons carved by centuries of persistence. In winter, Banff sleeps under snow, still and sacred. In summer, it bursts with wildflowers and life. Standing there, surrounded by peaks older than memory, you feel your own heartbeat slow to match the rhythm of the land. Banff doesn't belong to anyone. It's the earth as it was meant to be, vast, untouchable, eternal, looping endlessly in its own quiet perfection.
Rome, Italy, is the city that refuses to stop living, a heartbeat that's been echoing through millennia and still hasn't lost its rhythm. The streets are a maze of contradictions. Ancient ruins beside neon cafes, crumbling marble beside roaring scooters, silence beside song. You walk through it and feel the weight of history pressing from every direction, the Colosseum's bones glowing gold under the afternoon sun. the Pantheon's dome opening to the sky like a question that's never needed answering. Fountains spill music into the air, their water cold and eternal. Narrow alleys burst open into grand piazzas where voices rise and laughter spills like wine. Rome smells of espresso and rain on stone, of bread baking behind wooden doors, of the earth itself breathing through cracks in the old roads. At sunset, the whole city turns to amber, light catching the ruins and rooftops, and for a moment, everything, past and present, feels perfectly aligned. You sit on the Spanish steps, gelato in hand, and watch life unfold. Lovers arguing softly in Italian, children chasing pigeons, priests moving through the crowd like ghosts of marble statues. The night deepens, and the city hums louder, music, clinking glasses, footsteps echoing through eternity. Rome is a paradox that thrives on its own chaos, sacred and ordinary all at once. It doesn't try to impress you, it just is, effortlessly magnificent, looping through history and rebirth with every sunrise, every crumbling wall, every whispered ciao that means both hello and goodbye. Norwegian fjords are the Earth's poetry carved in stone and water, stretching like deep blue veins through towering cliffs that rise so abruptly from the sea they seem to have been dropped by giants. As you sail their quiet waters, the air is sharp and clean, carrying the scent of pine, salt, and mist. Each breath a reminder that this is a land untouched by time. Waterfalls tumble from impossible heights, spilling into the fjord below like silver threads, some hidden in shadowed ravines, others crashing openly into light. Villages cling to the edges of cliffs, their wooden homes painted in colors that shout joy against granite, each one a testament to human resilience, in a place that seems uninhabitable. The fjords shift with the weather, sunlight turning water to glass, fog softening the edges of mountains, and northern lights dancing in winter like spirits celebrating in silence. Eagles wheel overhead, their cries echoing against canyon walls, and glaciers rest in high valleys, ancient and immovable, reminding you that the earth existed long before you and will continue long after. Every turn, every ripple, every reflection loops back into itself, a perfect harmony of solitude and grandeur, a rhythm that slows your heart even as it expands your imagination, until you understand that the fjords are not merely a place to see, they are a place to feel, to be suspended within, to exist in a continuous loop of awe. Prague, Czech Republic, is a city of stone and story, where the past is stitched seamlessly into the present, each cobblestone whispering secrets carried through centuries. The Vltava River winds through its heart, reflecting Gothic spires, Baroque domes, and the red-tiled roofs of buildings that have watched emperors and revolutionaries pass beneath them. Bridges arch gracefully over the water, their statues frozen in bronze, eyes gazing into time as if guarding the city's soul. Walking through Old Town is like stepping into a living painting. The astronomical clock strikes the hour and draws crowds in collective wonder. Street performers echo centuries of music and theater, and cafes hum with the smell of coffee, pastries, and conversation. At night, the city glows under amber streetlights, shadows deepening in alleys where history lingers like a gentle fog. Churches, palaces, and gardens layer upon one another, each one a heartbeat in Prague's endless rhythm. And even the simplest streets feel monumental when viewed through the lens of centuries. You move through it, sensing ghosts of kings, artists, and poets, feeling the city's pulse entwined with your own, and you realize that Prague is not just a place you visit. It is a story that loops endlessly, inviting you to step inside, listen, and become part of its eternal rhythm. Kyoto, Japan, is the quiet majesty of tradition carried through time, where every temple, garden, and street is a meditation in stone, wood, and season. Cherry blossoms drift like pale pink snow in spring, framing vermilion torii gates that stand sentinel along hidden pathways, guiding pilgrims and wanderers alike. Bamboo forests sway and creak, a natural cathedral through which sunlight filters in scattered, trembling shafts, and koi ponds mirror the sky with serene perfection. Tea houses cling to narrow streets, their interiors fragrant with green tea and incense, and every step along moss-covered stones feels intentional, as if the earth itself is teaching patience. During festivals, lanterns flicker in rhythm with prayers, casting warm light on faces smiling with reverence and joy, while the distant sound of temple bells resonates like the pulse of the universe itself. Kyoto is not hurried. It asks only that you slow down, notice the small details, the curve of a roof, the pattern of a garden, the reflection of a cloud in a pond, and in noticing, you enter a loop where past and present fold together seamlessly. Walking here, you feel time itself stretch, carrying you on an unbroken current of beauty, ritual, and quiet awe, until you understand that Kyoto exists not just in place, but in the way it transforms every moment into a meditation that echoes endlessly in memory. The Great Barrier Reef in Australia is not simply a reef. It is a universe suspended in water, teeming with life so vivid and intricate that it overwhelms the senses. Coral structures rise like underwater cities, their shapes twisting and spiraling in impossible geometries, painted in colors that seem impossible on land. Pink, purple, turquoise, gold. Fish of every imaginable hue dart through the labyrinth, their scales catching sunlight like living jewels, while turtles glide gracefully and manta rays sweep past with wings that ripple like silk. The reef is alive in every sense. Tiny polyps building mountains, waves shaping ecosystems, predators and prey dancing an endless ballet of survival and beauty. Snorkeling or diving, you feel weightless, as if the water has swallowed time itself, and every movement you make becomes part of the endless rhythm of the ocean. On the surface, the sunlight fractures into ribbons, sparkling across the waves. Below, shadows and light play across coral valleys like 1,000 private suns. The Great Barrier Reef is fragile, vibrant, ancient, and astonishing. It loops life into life, predator into prey, coral into fish, tide into current, reminding you that the planet itself is a living, breathing masterpiece, and that for a moment, you are swimming within its endless heartbeat. New York, USA is a city that never sleeps because it refuses to. A living organism pulsing with energy, ambition, and endless motion that loops through streets, subways, and skyscrapers in a rhythm that is both chaotic and mesmerizing. From the neon blaze of Times Square to the quiet corners of Central Park, the city contains multitudes. Wall Street's sharp edge, the whispered poetry of Greenwich Village, the clang of the elevated trains above Brooklyn, the echo of history in the brownstones of Harlem. Every street corner tells a story. Immigrants carving lives from cobblestones, artists painting dreams onto walls, street musicians filling air with improvisation, and food vendors offering aromas that compete with the scent of exhaust and rain. Skyscrapers pierce clouds, reflecting sunlight by day and the glow of thousands of windows by night, while bridges arch like steel skeletons over rivers that carry both commerce and contemplation. The subways roar beneath, a subterranean artery where humanity collides and converges, where languages mix like music, and everyone is moving towards something, or nothing, all at once. Night brings another loop. Lights flicker, taxis hum, the skyline glimmers, and Broadway stages pulse with life that never stops repeating, reinventing, echoing. You walk here and feel both infinitesimal and infinite at the same time. The city wraps around you, breathes through you, challenges you, and teaches you that time in New York is elastic, moving in loops of opportunity, memory, and ambition, so that even when you leave, the city continues, and in some mysterious way, you are still moving with it, caught forever in its relentless, beautiful, and endless rhythm.
Cappadocia, Turkey, looks like a dream sculpted by the wind, a landscape so surreal it feels like stepping onto another planet. The earth here rises in strange, graceful spires called fairy chimneys, ancient towers of volcanic stone that glow rose gold in the first light of dawn. As the sun begins to climb, the sky fills with hundreds of hot air balloons, floating silently above valleys painted in amber and ash, drifting over cave homes carved into the cliffs centuries ago. Beneath the surface, entire cities sleep in the dark. Underground labyrinths once used by early Christians to hide from invaders, tunnels and chambers that still echo with whispers of survival and faith. You walk through narrow canyons where time has softened the rock into curves that feel almost human. And the silence is so pure, it hums. At night, lanterns flicker outside cave hotels, and stars pour across the sky with a brilliance untouched by city light. Cappadocia doesn't feel like it belongs to Earth. It feels like a memory of the world before it was finished, a place where stone, air, and fire learned to dance together. Dubrovnik, Croatia, stands like a fortress of light against the Adriatic Sea, a walled city where every stone tells a story and every view feels like it was painted for eternity. The marble streets gleam under the sun, polished smooth by centuries of footsteps, while terracotta rooftops spill down to meet the waves. The city walls wrap around the old town like an embrace, guarding its secrets from both time and tide. From atop the ramparts, the sea stretches endlessly, deep blue and calm, while boats glide beneath the cliffs as if tracing the edge of history itself. Inside the walls, narrow alleys open into sunlit squares filled with the aroma of grilled seafood and the sound of distant church bells. The evenings are soft here, the air heavy with salt and jasmine, the hum of conversation rising from seaside cafes. And when night falls, the stones glow gold in the lamplight, and you understand why poets call Dubrovnik the Pearl of the Adriatic. It's not just a city, it's a living poem carved in limestone, where the past never truly ends and beauty is the only constant. Antelope Canyon, USA, is the Earth's secret cathedral, a place where sunlight turns stone into liquid fire. Hidden in the Arizona desert, it's a narrow passage carved by centuries of wind and flood, twisting in delicate curves that look more like sculpture than geology. When you step inside, the world changes. Sound disappears, the air cools, and the light begins to move like music. Beams of sunlight pierce the canyon's narrow ceiling, drifting down in golden columns that shift and fade as the day passes. The walls ripple in shades of orange, red, and violet, smooth as silk to the touch, shaped by the patient rhythm of water. Every turn feels sacred, every shadow alive. It's a place that doesn't just exist. It breathes, it glows, it transforms. Photographs can't capture it, words can't quite hold it. In Antelope Canyon, you realize that nature is not a painter, but a sculptor, and the masterpiece is still in motion. The canyon teaches you something wordless, that beauty isn't always loud. It can whisper too, through stone and light. Lake Bled, Slovenia, feels like a fairy tale gently set upon still water, surrounded by mountains that hold it close like a secret. The lake's surface mirrors the sky so perfectly that you can't tell where reflection ends and reality begins. In the center, an island rises softly, crowned by a tiny church whose bell has been ringing wishes into the wind for centuries. You glide across the lake in a wooden Pletna boat, the oar cutting slow, rhythmic circles through the blue. And when you step onto the island, time seems to pause. The air smells of pine and rain, and the mountains watch quietly as you climb the steps to ring the bell for luck. Above the shore, Bled Castle perches on a sheer cliff, its red roofs gleaming against the green of the forest. In winter, mist drapes over the water. In summer, wildflowers line the banks. Every season paints Lake Bled in a new palette, but its peace never changes. It's the kind of place that reminds you what serenity truly feels like, where the world seems to exhale and let you simply be. Samarkand, Uzbekistan, stands like a dream from another age, a crossroads of empires, a mosaic of faith and color born from centuries of trade along the Silk Road. The air shimmers with the scent of spice and dust, and minarets rise like blue flames against the desert sky. In the heart of the city, the Registan commands silence. A trio of madrasas adorned with tiles so intricate they seem to pulse with light, each pattern a language older than words. The domes of turquoise and gold catch the sun and scatter it across the square, as if the city itself were made of light. Wander the narrow lanes, and you'll find markets alive with silk, saffron, and song, their energy echoing the same pulse that once guided caravans from Persia to China. By night, Samarkand glows under a silver moon, its mosaics gleaming like constellations trapped in stone. It's a place that doesn't belong to one era or one people. It belongs to time itself, a city where the past still walks beside you, whispering stories of travelers, scholars, and kings who once believed that here, at the center of the world, eternity might be found. Bali, Indonesia, is not just an island, it's a pulse, a living rhythm that moves between the sea and the spirit. The air smells of salt and incense, of frangipani blossoms and rain-soaked earth, and everywhere you go, something is being born. Music, color, prayer, life. The mornings begin with the sound of roosters and the soft chanting of temple offerings, smoke rising from woven palm leaf baskets filled with flowers and rice. In Ubud, green rice terraces fold into each other like waves frozen in time, each layer glistening under the sun, each stalk swaying to the hum of cicadas. Waterfalls thunder in hidden jungles, their spray catching the light like scattered diamonds, while the coastlines stretch from black volcanic sand to coral-fringed lagoons. The island's temples seem to breathe, Tanah Lot rising from the sea like a vision, Uluwatu perched above cliffs where the sun dies in gold and fire. But the true magic of Bali is in its balance, the way the spiritual and the earthly coexist so effortlessly, the way even chaos seems choreographed by something unseen. At sunset, the beaches glow with lanterns, surfers carve through glassy waves, and gamelan music drifts through the night air. You begin to realize that Bali doesn't just exist on a map, it exists in energy, in light, in the quiet understanding that beauty is sacred when it's lived, not possessed. Luang Prabang, Laos, feels like time slowed down to the rhythm of a river, a small town suspended between mountains and memory. The Mekong glides past in silence, wide and brown and patient, carrying with it the reflections of golden temples and the soft silhouettes of monks collecting alms at dawn. The morning light here is gentle. Mist curls over the rooftops, the scent of jasmine and wood smoke lingers in the cool air, and the world moves without rush or noise. Colonial villas and traditional Lao houses line narrow streets shaded by palm and flame trees, their faded shutters whispering stories of centuries gone by. Each temple glows in the sunlight, their roofs layered like folded wings, their courtyards filled with the echo of chanting that drifts into the distance. As day turns to evening, the night market blooms in a quiet explosion of color. Hand-woven fabrics, silver jewelry, and the aroma of lemongrass and grilled fish filling the air. And then comes the hush again, the soft sound of the river returning to claim the night. Luang Prabang isn't a place you visit. It's a place you surrender to. It wraps you in stillness, teaches you to listen, and shows you that peace isn't something to be found. It's something that's been waiting for you all along, in the golden hour between one breath and the next.
Dreaming of free vacations and exclusive travel deals? Join the #1 travel club that gives you access to free vacations, travel vouchers, branded merch, and more. Click the link below to join now and lock in your rate at just $1 per month before it's gone.